Thanks for watching another Campfire Conversations. Today we got a group of our Tamarack Grove team. We're going to talk about some of the types of projects that we do, but specifically about the prototype work that we do here. And I think a lot of times we talk about prototype, but that's a broad statement for us, and a little bit about site adapting those prototypes that maybe are given to us instead. So what is a prototype project for those out there that are watching this right now?
Like with the fast food restaurants, you go to a restaurant and and you go to the same restaurant in a different location, it looks identical. That's what prototype work really means. Like it's set up, the design's almost the same. You walk into a grocery store, you see everything laid out in the similar way across various states, across the country. So that's what basically prototype work means.
So what have been some of the benefits of that?
Those restaurants, they need to open up at different places all across the country, and it's ongoing, so we need to get those turned around really quickly. So with those prototype projects, the benefit is you can get those turned around really quickly in a month. You can get those ground up projects done in a month and then go into the permitting process and everything. So I think the major benefit is that you could do it like a year round, and with you can open up like 100 stores in a year, and so yeah, that's one of the major benefits.
So how do you guys deal with that? Obviously, from East Coast to West Coast, you have wind versus seismic that you're designing for, maybe hurricanes versus high snow, deep frost depths, no frost depths, whatever. You got so many different design variables across the country. How do you take one prototype and site adapt that across the nation?
I think one of the benefits to setting up prototype or even site adapted work is efficiency. That's ultimately the goal. It's the name of the game. Efficiency includes everything, includes speed of the calc, speed of design, speed of construction, familiarity with what's going on, which ultimately saves time and money for the client and everybody involved. And with that, I think the nicest thing to do with prototype work, ranging from the different sizes, is you can have a prototype for the building, the actual building itself, excluding the foundation, so to speak. The foundation is almost always considered, I would say, site adapted, because sometimes you might have geotechnical information, sometimes you don't. So the foundation is almost considered a site adapted portion of it, but the structure itself is the prototype. So I feel like what we can do is design for what we do a lot of times, almost like I won't say worst case, but definitely a more, a design that works in 90% of the country. And we've designed it to work in 90% of the country, knowing that in these areas, we're not going to have any issues, whether it's seismic, whether it's wind, any of the lateral resisting systems or snow, even frost up you can still do, but any of that type of lateral system or gravity loading, that's the prototype, that's where it's going to work. And so most of the time the clients try to stay within that area of the country where their prototype, what we've designed for, works everywhere. And then the times where it doesn't, I'd say still majority of it still works, which is the nice thing. We just have to make a couple, as you say, site adaptations to that.
I think one cool thing too on that regard is that it's part of their brand. So obviously we're talking about the structural design aspect of it, but like it doesn't matter which fast food restaurant you walk into, it's going to look the same here as it does in Texas, as it does in Arizona or wherever you go, right? That's that same fast food restaurant, but it's their brand. It's not just their product being the food, but it's their brand when you walk into the building. So that's pretty cool.
Familiarity.
Yeah.
So you can go anywhere and feel the same as you have if you walked into your local store.
Yeah. And it's kind of neat because there's the benefits, obviously, of like what we're talking about, of that efficiency to just stamp these out over and over and be able to expand as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible, but then having that benefit too of your customer base knowing you no matter where they go, something that's reliable.
Yeah, you know where to drive through, you know where to pick up your food and everything. So yeah.
So as a company, we've had tons of prototypical projects come through our doors. What's been a hard prototypical project for you? Not necessarily the specific project, but like what was the circumstance around it? Why was it hard?
I work on fast food restaurants, and we had this a prototype set up, and we were working on that prototype for different projects, for main projects, and then we had this new prototype setup come through where they wanted a different design, so we had to work through that new prototype and then get everything set up with all those details and everything, all those plans and everything. So we had to pick up a new prototype and then assemble it and get that project done. So that was one of those things. Yeah.
If you get a good set of prototype builds that go exactly as planned, exactly how you're describing, prototype, get it done, and then one wrench gets thrown into it, mixes it up, and you're so stuck in that comfort zone that something will come up, and yeah, it causes a chain reaction, which can go down a path of all kinds of things. But then on top of that, it's just the fact that it kind of almost halts your groove that you're in. I mean, totally halts the brakes, puts it on, and then all of a sudden now you have to get back into how you're going to make it work, but still keeping everything else as similar as possible. And I think that can be a challenge often with those.
Dealing with all the clients that you guys have on the prototypical types of projects you have, what are some of the best traits that those clients have had, or like even the projects themselves? Like what makes an awesome project?
I would say communication. If we're able to quickly, a quick question here, pop it over to the client we're working with and have a quick response back, or even just those follow-ups like, yeah, we're not sure on this right now, but we'll definitely get back to you, and just making those little adjustments for each site adept and having that client communication is super helpful.
And so just like the availability, so that quickly you can get stuff answered.
Yeah.
What about for you guys?
Absolutely.
Like we've done this with like on so many projects, you know the client in and out, what they need, and there are questions that are coming in and around. Like every day you have some questions coming around, but you know you can talk to them and just communicate with them and just answer whatever is coming our way. So yeah, one of the best traits is that you've dealt with them so many times that you have a comfort level with them, and even the types of questions that come in. So yeah.
I think along with that, kickoff meetings on these projects are critical in terms of that communication, just making sure that everybody is on the same page. Having that initial kickoff with everybody that's going to be part of the design team, so it's all laid out one time. Everybody knows the schedule, what the responsibilities are, who's doing what, when, all that sort of thing is all laid out. I think that night and day makes the project.
The whole actually wanting to do something as a team, as a design team, helps when everybody wants to be part of the team and help out where they can. And that involves everything, not just the communication things, but flexibility, understanding. When everyone's on board as a team, wanting to complete a project as a team, it really goes a long ways. It helps with the communication. It helps with being able to have conversations about maybe ways that we know we've done things before in the past a certain way, but this way can actually be more beneficial. And just having those conversations, it helps when everyone's on board trying to make that better at the same time.
Well, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Campfire Conversations. We hope you'll join us next time. Woohoo!